When records in your data table include dates, Access can parse those values out and group them on the fly right inside of your reports without having to subset or break down the dates manually in a query first. For instance, you can easily group your records by month or quarter with one little change to the Group and Sort window. Let's build a quick report that displays our orders for each month. We'll start by going to the Create tab, and in the Report section, I'll click on Report Design. First, let's head over to our property sheet, where we can connect our report's data source, or the record source here, to our orders table. I'll click on the drop-down list and choose the orders table here. Next, let's turn our attention to the Group and Sort window on the bottom. If it's not on, you can toggle it on with the button up here in the ribbon. Let's go ahead and add a group. I want to take my orders and group them together by year. So I'm going to choose the order date. That's where our date fields are. If you think about our orders table, though, you'll remember that all of our orders are down to the specific day that they were placed, not a year. What we can do here, though, in the grouping of the order dates, is we can come over here to this option where it says by quarter and change it to something else. For instance, I'm going to choose by year. Now it'll parse the year out of each of our order dates and group them together so that all of the orders for 2008 appear together and all of the orders for 2009 appear together. Let's go ahead and make that change here. And I'm going to choose from oldest to newest, and I'm going to change that from newest to oldest, so it goes reverse chronologically. Now we can add in another group. I'll press Add a Group, and again, I'm going to group it on order date again. Now underneath each year, I want to group my orders by month. So I'll come back over here to where it says by quarter, and I'll change it to by month. Once again, I'll sort it reverse chronologically by changing this from oldest to newest, and I'll change it to from newest to oldest. Now my orders are going to be grouped by year first, then within that, they're going to be grouped by month, and then within that, I want to sort them out. Let's go ahead and say Add a Sort. I also want to sort them by date, so that they're again reversed chronologically. So I'll change this from newest to oldest. This time, I don't need to add any other features here because I want to sort it based off of the actual date of the order. So year first, then month, then the day that the order was placed. Let's go ahead and start filling in our form with data up here. We'll go over here to Add Existing Fields, and I'm going to take the Order Date field, and I'm going to drop it into this first order date header. Then I'm going to take another copy of it and drop it in the second order date header here. Then I'm going to take all of these fields, I'll click on the order ID, shift-click on quantity, and I'll drag and drop them in the detail section. Let's go ahead and rearrange. I'm going to select all these labels and just delete them. Now we can line these up. I'll put order ID over here, then order date, then the customer ID, then the salesperson ID, then the product ID next to it, and finally the quantity after that. We'll just bump this over a little bit. Let's go ahead and close our field list, and I'll scroll down and I'll grab the bottom of my detail section, which is way down here, and we'll move that up. We're going to go ahead and make it tight against these text boxes here. Let's go ahead and run our report. I'll go to the View menu and choose Print Preview. Now we can see how our report is laid out. I've got my order date field here, and I've got another one here, and then I've got all these details, but I can see that these details are in reverse chronological order. And these are all for May 2014. If I scroll down a little bit, we're going to go down towards the end of May. I'll actually switch to the next page here, and I'll move back up to the top. So here's the end of the May records, and then I have another section here that says order date with a date in April, and then some April values. So right now we're just displaying the last date that appears in each month. Let's actually go ahead and change this so it displays the name of the month instead. I'll go ahead and close the Print Preview window, and I'm going to go ahead and change these boxes over here. This order date here, I'm going to apply a function to it. Let's go ahead and click at the very beginning. The function that I want to modify our order date with is the year function. That's just going to extract the year from our order dates. So instead of just the order date value straight out of the data table, I'm going to type equals year, and then open a parenthesis, and then I'll move to the end of order date, and I'll close a parenthesis. That's going to say we're going to take the year function and apply that to the order date value. Let's go ahead and get rid of this label here and move this over. Next, in the second box down below, the order date header here, this is where it's going to display the month. Let's go ahead and get rid of this label here, make this a little bit wider, and we're going to apply another function against our order date data to extract the month. This one's a little bit more complicated. Let me go ahead and click here at the very beginning. The function that I want is the format function. I'm going to type in equals and then format. I'm going to open up a parenthesis, and then I'm going to type in a square bracket. We'll go to the end here and we'll do a closing bracket around the order date. I'll type in a comma, a single quotation mark, and then I'm going to type in 4 M's. This will indicate that the format function is going to return the full name of the month of that order date. I'll go ahead and put a single quotation mark to close it, and then a final closing parentheses at the end. Let's go ahead and check this out. I'll go to my View menu and go back to Print Preview. When I run my report, I actually get these 2 error messages here saying type. I actually created a circular reference accidentally, so let me go back and fix that. Let's go ahead and close the Print Preview, and I'm going to select this first box here. Let's go ahead and open up our property sheet. And what happened is, if I go over here to the Other tab, you can see that the name of this text box here is actually called order date. And so when I'm applying this function of year of order date, it's thinking that I'm intending to apply it to itself and not to the original order date from the orders table. To fix this, I just need to rename this text box here. I'm going to come over here, and at the very beginning, I'm just going to type in a TXT to indicate that it's a text box named order date and not the field from the original table. Let's go ahead and click off of that. That should fix our circular reference. So now I can go back to the View menu, go to Print Preview, and I'm still getting that error message. So one more time, I'll go back into Close Print Preview, back to Design View, and notice that when we come back, it actually renamed this to correspond to the change that we made of the text box. So once again, I'm just going to delete this text here to finally refer back to the order date from the original orders table. I'm going to click off of this. I'm just going to verify that this one is still called TXT order date. It is. And these 2 labels now just say order date, not TXT order date. Okay, hopefully that worked. Let's go into Print Preview. And now I can see that this May text box is functioning properly. Now I've got this other odd date that's appearing here. Now it says 1905 instead. The reason that that's happened is because it's actually translating the numerical value of the date, which was 2008 or 2009, into the serial number dates that Access uses internally. So we're saying here that we're about 2008 days after it started counting in 1900. Let's go ahead and close Print Preview, and we'll make one more small change. I'll click on this text box, go up to the Format tab, and instead of formatting it as a date here, I'm just going to tell it it's just a general number now. Go ahead and select off of it, go back to the Home tab, change our view back to Print Preview, and finally we're at the number that we expected. 2014, May. Here's all the data that happened in May. I can scroll down to the end, and we're still in May at the end. So let's go ahead and go to the next page, back up to the top, and this is where it switches to April. So now we can easily see what orders were placed in each month. If I wanted to check out the sales activity for a specific month, the year and month headers in this report make it a quick process to scan down until I find the dates that I'm interested in.